Hey everyone. So if you're building anything with AI right now, you know the number of models out there is just exploding. It feels like a new, more powerful model from a different company drops, every single week? So how in the world do you choose the right one for what you're trying to do? Well, it's actually way simpler than you might think. Let's break it down.
I mean, you hear all these names flying around, right? GPT 4.5, Claude 3.7, Llama 3.3, Gemini 2.0 Flash. The list just keeps on going. Each one is part of a powerful family of models from these different labs. Honestly, it's a dizzying array of options, and it's so easy to feel completely lost. You're just kind of left thinking, where do I even begin?
But here's the good news. There's a really simple way to think about this whole ecosystem. And in this explainer, we're going to give you a super clear, straightforward framework that's going to help you cut through all that noise and make the right choice for your work. All right, let's jump into our first big idea, our first chapter. And this one's a little counterintuitive. The newest, the biggest, the most powerful AI model is not always the right choice. In fact, for a lot of jobs, it's actually the wrong choice. You know, it really helps to think of all these models as falling into three main flavors. So first up, we've got the frontier models. These are the absolute powerhouses, the GPT 4.5s of the world. They're built for really complex reasoning. We're talking inventing a new scientific idea or writing a whole app from just a sketch. Then we have the fast, efficient models. Think of these guys as the speedsters of the AI world. They're designed for high-volume, real-time jobs where every single penny and every millisecond really matters. And finally, you've got the open weights models, which are basically the DIY kits for builders who need total control and privacy.
Let's just dig into that open weights idea for a second, because it's super important. Using an open weights model is like getting the complete secret recipe to bake a world-class cake right in your own kitchen. You control all the ingredients, you can tweak the process however you want, and this is crucial, your data and that recipe never ever leave your house. A proprietary model, on the other hand, that's like buying that amazing cake from a fancy bakery. It's incredible for sure, but you have to go to their shop every single time, and you never get the recipe.
So here's the key takeaway. You can pretty much categorize any model out there by just pulling three simple levers. First, size and power. How much brain power do you actually need for your task? Second, cost. What's your budget going to look like at scale? And third, permissions. Do you need that private recipe for yourself, or are you cool with just buying the finished cake every time?
Okay, now let's make this really concrete with an example. I want you to picture the difference between a sledgehammer and a scalpel. They're both tools, right? But you would never, ever use them for the same job.
So let's say our job is to build a customer support chatbot. This bot is going to handle millions of simple customer questions a day. You know the kind, where's my order? Or, hey, what's your return policy? It has to be fast, it has to be reliable, and it has to be affordable at a massive scale.
Okay, so which tool do we choose? Well, on one hand, we've got the sledgehammer, a powerhouse like GPT 4.5. It's brilliant, no doubt. But for this simple job, the estimated monthly cost is, wait for it, a staggering $4 million. Now, what about the scalpel? A fast, efficient model like Gemini 2.0 Flash. It's literally designed for this exact kind of task. The cost for the same job? Just $9,000.
Just think about that for a moment. This isn't some small optimization. We are talking about a 500 times cost difference. For any business, that's not just a line item on a budget. That's the difference between a project being possible or totally out of the question. That $4 million savings per month could fund an entire new department. And this just perfectly illustrates a core principle of building with AI today. Using the most powerful model for a simple task is exactly like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. Yeah, it'll work, but it's wildly expensive, it's often slower, and it is complete and total overkill. So, with that idea locked in, let's move to our final chapter and see how this all comes together into a practical takeaway. I'm going to give you a simple guide you can use for your own projects, like today.
Here it is, a simple three-step checklist. First, define your goal. Are you looking for a creative partner that can do complex reasoning, or do you just need a super fast assistant for simple answers? Second, set your budget. AI costs can scale up really fast, so you've got to know what you can afford per interaction, especially when you start talking about millions of them. And third, know your speed limit. Does your app need an instant response? Because in a real-time chat, every millisecond counts. For an overnight report, maybe not so much.
If you remember just one thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. Match the model to the problem complexity. Don't use a sledgehammer when a scalpel will get the job done.
So what does this all really mean? Well, it points to a really crucial shift in how you should think when you approach the world of AI.
Look, the goal is never to find the single best AI model out there. That's a moving target anyway, and honestly, it's the wrong question to be asking. The real goal is to find the right AI for your specific job, the one that perfectly balances the power, the cost, and the speed for whatever it is you're trying to build. The real power isn't in just grabbing the latest and greatest model off the shelf. It's in understanding this landscape and choosing your tool with purpose. So now that you have the framework, what are you going to build?